Lil Durk is in serious trouble. Prosecutors have 35 witnesses lined up, and even his own music is set to be used against him in court. From 6ix9ine to Boosie and Meek Mill, rappers have been speaking on his situation, and they're explaining why Durk might be cooked. Let me catch you up. Right now, the countdown is almost over. The trial is expected to commence on August 20, 2026. That date has moved before more than once, but this time it's sticking, and Durk himself isn't happy about the wait it took to get here. Here's what the government says it's walking into court with. According to reporting from academics, the government has announced they have 35 witnesses ready to testify against Lil Durk, with 20 of them allegedly having important information toward the case. That's not a typo. 35 people, 20 of them considered central. And on top of the witness list, some of Durk's own music will be admissible as evidence, with the trial expected to run 2 to 3 weeks once it kicks off. Let's be clear about who's actually on trial here. The trial involves American rapper Durk, Lil Durk Banks, and 5 associates from his record label, Only the Family, known as OTF. 6 men total, sitting at the same defense table, all facing the same federal case at the same time. The case itself goes back to a night in August 2022. The trial stems from an August 2022 shooting death of Saviaya Lul Pab Robinson, cousin of American rapper Tyquan Quando Rondo Bowman. Robinson wasn't the target. He was standing next to the man prosecutors say was. Durk didn't get picked up right away. It took over 2 years. Banks was arrested in Broward County, Florida on October 17, 2024, along with 5 of his associates from OTF. Other reporting says he was arrested while trying to board a private flight. According to Ace Showbiz, Lil Durk also recently had a key to a Chicago area city revoked, following his arrest at Miami Airport just before boarding a private flight to Italy. A key to the city gone. That alone tells you how fast the ground shifted under him. The core allegation is straightforward on paper and brutal in practice. Court documents allege that Banks conspired with his OTF associates to murder Bowman and offered a monetary reward for his murder, and that Banks used funds from himself and OTF-related ventures to finance the conspiracy. Prosecutors have described the motive as retaliation. Federal prosecutors say the shooting was part of a murder-for-hire plot targeting Quando Rondo in retaliation for the 2020 killing of King Von, one of Durk's close friends and collaborators. What actually happened at that gas station has been described in detail by prosecutors. Federal prosecutors claim multiple gunmen fired at least 18 rounds, including from a fully automatic weapon, and that the attack was carried out pursuant to a promised bounty. Rondo survived it. His cousin didn't. This case has ballooned since the original arrest. It started as one murder-for-hire count, and it hasn't stopped growing. In June 2026, Banks and his associates were charged with violations of the Violent Crimes in Aid of Racketeering Activity statute, specifically murder in aid of racketeering. Rolling Stone described it plainly. A grand jury added new counts to Lil Durk's murder-for-hire case, transforming the federal prosecution into a much broader case that now accuses him and his co-defendants of violent crimes in aid of racketeering activities. That new count wasn't about the gas station at all. The third superseding indictment introduced a new allegation involving the January 27, 2022 killing of a rival gang member in Chicago, accusing Durk of acting as the leader of a Chicago street gang and offering a reward that led to the killing. Prosecutors say he's not just a rapper who got caught up in something. They say he ran the operation then. Just weeks before the trial date, prosecutors added even more. With the start of the trial approaching, federal prosecutors secured a 4th superseding indictment, updating the case with a grand jury indictment of interstate stalking and splitting a previous combined stalking allegation into 2 distinct counts, raising Durk's total charges from 6 to 7. Every time the calendar gets closer to trial, the paperwork gets thicker. Not everything the government wanted has stuck, though. Durk's legal team scored a real win over the summer. Lil Durk scored a major victory when a judge ruled his gang racketeering charge would be severed from his upcoming murder-for-hire trial. His attorney, Drew Findling, didn't hide his relief. "We are very happy with the court's order," Findling told Rolling Stone, adding that after 21 months they were looking forward to the August trial. The hearing that produced that ruling got tense. The judge didn't hold back on the prosecution. Lead prosecutor Ian Ianniello argued the new counts were inextricably tied to the existing charges since the Los Angeles murder was allegedly done on behalf of a gang, but Judge Fitzgerald said he viewed the new charges as a strategy to bolster the case, telling Ianniello, "You think you will have a better chance to win if the Chicago count is tried." With the Los Angeles murder, that's obvious. You treat that as a feature, I treat that as a bug, even with that severance win, the core trial. The one about the gas station, the bounty, the 18 rounds, is still going forward exactly as scheduled, with the same defendant, the same charges tied to Robinson's death, and now a stacked witness list waiting to testify. That's the trial rappers across the industry have been bracing for, and it's why so many of them have already started talking. One of the strangest parts of this entire case is that prosecutors aren't just relying on witnesses and phone records. They've spent months fighting to get Durk's own songs and videos played for a jury. It started with one specific record. Federal prosecutors believe that Lil Durk's song and video, Pissed Me Off, should be used as evidence, filing a motion, requesting that both the audio and the music video for the track be admissible at trial. Their reasoning wasn't subtle. Prosecutors argued that both the song and video demonstrate that Durk was ready and willing to enact violent revenge for the killing of his friend and OTF label mate King Von, and was encouraging others to do the same. The defense fought it hard and lost. With a week to go before the start of the trial, a federal judge ruled that the rapper's video and lyrics for Pissed Me Off can be used as evidence, with U.S. District Judge Michael Fitzgerald granting prosecutors' request over the objection of Durk's defense. Durk's team had argued admitting it would create so much risk of prejudice and confusion. The judge didn't buy it. Prosecutors argued the song shows Durk's resolve to avenge the death of his friend and protege, Davon King Von Bennett. To his credit, the judge didn't pretend the song was simple. I understand the defense sees the song as really an in memoriam for a number of people who were lost to Mr. Banks, including his own brother. And of course, the defense will be able to bring that out, Fitzgerald said from the bench, adding that cross-examination could clarify which references were about Durk's brother, rather than the case at hand. That single song is just the tip of it. Prosecutors have been building a much bigger stack of material for over a year. Prosecutors wanted to include excerpts of a dozen songs, 9 music videos, and 3 audio files, and the back and forth over whether they'd be allowed in came to a head with a split decision that had wins for both sides. Durk's attorney, Drew Findling, vehemently objected throughout that fight. The list of tracks involved reads like a tour through Durk's catalog. The visuals include the music video for Risky, released 2 months after Robinson's murder, as well as lyrics from HHH, Rumors featuring Gucci Mane, and Hanging with Wolves, on top of Durk's own solo work. Several Durk tracks featuring co-defendant DeAndre Dontrell Wilson, who raps under the name Deski, were submitted as evidence by the prosecution. Prosecutors haven't stopped at released music either. They pulled an unreleased track, straight off a co-defendant's phone. Prosecutors point to an unreleased track, allegedly found on a co-defendant's cell phone that references the events surrounding Robinson's killing, with lyrics including a mention of riding through Beverly Hills with choppers and a reference to a bounty hunter. That location detail matters to the case. Federal authorities have noted that Beverly Hills is in close proximity to the Beverly Grove gas station, where Robinson was fatally shot. The overall theory prosecutors are pushing is about leadership, not just revenge. Prosecutors argue that lyrics like these bolster their contention that Durk was the leader of OTF who funded his co-conspirators' violence against rivals, including by placing bounties. Durk's defense pushed back on all of it, arguing there's no way to even prove when these lines were written or who actually wrote them. In a brief, Durk's legal team argued that a dozen music videos, songs, and lyric excerpts should be excluded, pointing out that there is no evidence when the songs were written, or even who wrote any particular line at issue. They called the whole approach one that carries an extraordinary risk of unfair prejudice. To back that argument up, the defense brought in an academic voice. They brought on professor and author Eric Nielsen, co-author of the 2019 book Rap on Trial, Race, Lyrics, and Guilt in America, who noted that the proposed evidence is of similar type, content, and substance as a large percentage of music produced by other artists in the same genre as the defendants. The judge didn't throw everything out, but he didn't let everything in either. The judge allowed 4 excerpts, some with cutout portions, and denied 5, ruling that the court can only use screenshots of videos rather than full footage. For the ones he denied, his reasoning was about timing. he denied certain lyrics, because even though they described similar actions to what Durk has been accused of doing, there was no legitimate evidence that these lyrics specifically referred to the 2022 shooting targeting Rondo. One song didn't survive at all. Judge Fitzgerald previously ruled that lyrics from Banks' song Hanging with Wolves would be barred at the upcoming trial. Beyond the songs themselves, prosecutors have also floated a witness who could connect the music directly to the alleged murder plot. Prosecutors revealed they have a witness ready to testify that Durk gave music opportunities to affiliates of his OTF crew who had participated in the 2022 shooting. The theory here is that appearing in a video wasn't just exposure, it was payment. One of the Fed's main arguments for including music videos as evidence is their allegation that part of the bounty was prominent placement in videos. Durk's team called that theory thin. Not one government witness has ever said that his motive to commit murder was to be featured in music videos or rap songs. They wrote in response, "Still, whether jurors buy that connection or not, the fact remains. A Grammy-winning artist's own catalog is now sitting in evidence boxes in a federal courthouse, ready to be played for 12 strangers deciding his freedom." To understand why prosecutors think music, motive, and murder are all tangled together. In this case, you have to go back to November 2020 and to the death of King Von. Prosecutors contend that the alleged plot was motivated by retaliation for the November 2020 killing of Durk's close friend and only the family artist King Von, who died following a physical altercation with Quando Rondo outside an Atlanta lounge. Von wasn't just a label mate to Durk, he was, by every account, like family. His death outside that Atlanta venue reshaped the entire OTF camp, and prosecutors say it set a clock running. The alleged hit is believed to be in retaliation for the murder of King Von, which was carried out by Timothy Lul Tim Leaks, an affiliate of Rondo. Leaks didn't survive long after, but that's a separate thread of this story. What matters for this trial is that prosecutors believe Durk and OTF blamed Rondo's camp for what happened to Von, and that blame allegedly turned into a plan. That plan, according to the government, took nearly 2 years to execute. Durk has pleaded not guilty to federal charges stemming from the August 2022 killing of Savii Robinson, known as Lul Pab, an affiliate of Quando Rondo, who was fatally shot during an attack outside a Los Angeles area gas station. The details prosecutors have laid out in filings paint a coordinated operation, not a spur-of-the-moment shooting. The indictment alleges that Durk arranged logistics, such as ski masks, rental cars, and hotel rooms, and even placed a bounty on Rondo in retaliation for the 2020 killing of King Von by an associate of Quando Rondo. Surveillance cameras reportedly caught the attack itself. Surveillance footage captures the shooting of Quando Rondo's vehicle at a Los Angeles gas station, where 18 rounds were fired. Under Durk's alleged direction, federal authorities went further, saying this wasn't Rondo's first brush with this alleged plot. Banks is accused of being the leader of Only the Family, a collective that acts as a group of individuals who engage in violence, including murder and assault at the direction of Banks, and of placing a monetary bounty out for an individual with whom Banks was feuding. On Aug 19, 2022, multiple OTF members allegedly used 2 vehicles and worked together to track, stalk, and attempt to murder Rondo before the fatal shot that ended up killing his cousin instead. The government has been clear about one thing: they're not pursuing this as a capital case. Prosecutors said they will not seek the death penalty in Lil Durk's murder-for-hire case. That doesn't mean the stakes are low. Other reporting on the 4th superseding indictment lays out just how serious the exposure is. Held without bail since his October arrest, Durk now faces life in prison if convicted. Prosecutors haven't stopped at the 2022 shooting either. They've reached back for older, uncharged incidents to build out a picture of a pattern. The possible new charges against Durk are reportedly also related to older incidents, including the 2019 Varsity restaurant shooting and the 2022 murder of Stephon Mack. Durk was charged in the Varsity restaurant shooting, but the charges were dropped, and authorities did not file charges related to the Mack killing, though Durk was linked to it in federal documents. Wikipedia's tracking of the case confirms the government keeps circling back to those same names. They reference the 2019 Atlanta shooting and reintroduce the Stephon Mack murder. Durk's defense has spent this entire case attacking the credibility of the government's central cooperator. According to reporting on the case, Banks' defense has denied the allegations, arguing that prosecutors are relying heavily on a cooperating witness whose account has shifted over time. In court filings, Banks' attorneys argued that this key witness initially told investigators there was no bounty and that he acted under duress, then later altered his account, claiming a co-defendant remained in Los Angeles to collect and distribute the alleged payment. That inconsistency has been the backbone of the defense strategy from the start. The idea that the case rests on someone whose story kept changing, not on hard, unmovable proof. It's why Durk's team once tried to get him released on bond altogether, arguing the informant had been feeding prosecutors false information. Lil Durk argued he should be released from jail ahead of the trial, claiming the informant had been providing false information to prosecutors. None of that changed the custody situation. Durk has now spent close to 2 years locked up. While this case dragged through delay after delay, Durk has been behind bars since his arrest in October 2024 and has remained in custody after being denied bail. Conditions inside, according to his own legal team, have been rough. According to his attorneys, the Chicago native spent months in solitary confinement after allegedly being found in possession of an unauthorized Apple Watch, and his lawyer alleged he had not been given access to commissary and was only allowed 1 phone call each month without in-person visits. So by the time this trial actually starts, the man on trial isn't walking into court fresh. He's walking in after nearly 2 years in custody, multiple stacked indictments, a fight over his own lyrics, and a government case built on the theory that one friend's murder turned into a bounty on another rapper's head. That's the story prosecutors plan to tell the jury. Now it's worth looking at how the rest of hip-hop has been reacting to all of it. Durk's situation hasn't played out in a vacuum. Rappers have been commenting on it, referencing it, and in some cases using it against him for years leading into this trial and right up until it started. The most pointed of these comments has come from Tekashi 6ix in '99, who has never let go of his old back and forth with Durk. After his own release from custody, 6ix went live with streamers N3on and Aiden Ross and brought Durk's case up directly. 6ix9ine called out Lil Durk while live streaming, bringing up Durk's own legal trouble and referencing Drake's Laugh Now Cry Later to point out how the tables have turned in recent years. His comments weren't subtle. I've learned that everybody who has talked shit about me has an opinion until they're in your situation, he said, naming names. Pooh Shiesty is now in a situation, Gucci Mane is now in a situation, Lil Durk is now in a situation. Then he circled back to a Durk verse from that very Drake song. He brought up Durk's contribution to Laugh Now Cry Later, asking who is laughing now and crying later, and pointing out you see how the same thing they threw at me. He was referring to the lines Durk once rapped on that track, lines about not wanting to hear a rat in the club. That callback matters because of history. Durk was one of the loudest voices, calling 6ix9ine a snitch back when Tekashi cooperated with federal prosecutors against his own former gang. Lil Durk had choice words for 6ix19 after he began testifying, tweeting "Fuck 69 snitch K Boosie Badazz" piled on around that same era too, sharing screenshots mocking the testimony, and Vince Staples joined in as well, clowning the situation in a string of tweets. Years later, that exact dynamic, a rapper's case built partly on cooperating witnesses, is now the thing Durk himself is up against. Boosie has stayed a constant voice throughout Durk's ordeal, going back to when the arrest first happened, and continuing as the case dragged on. Boosie has been one of the most consistent public commentators on the culture of testifying versus staying silent, and he's continued referencing Durk's situation as it's unfolded, most recently in conversations touching on loyalty and cooperation within the industry. Reporting from Vlad TV notes that Tekashi also references situations involving Boosie, Lil Durk, and other high-profile figures, while explaining how quickly relationships can shift when money and reputation are involved. Meek Mill has weighed in from a different angle entirely, using moments in hip-hop's legal history, including commentary tied to cases like this one, to warn other artists about the dangers of the lifestyle that gets performed online versus the one that plays out in a courtroom. Back during the 6ix19 trial, Meek Mill went on his Twitter page to offer advice to anyone seeking clout on social media, tweeting 69 going up in a federal courthouse today, kids. Message of the day: don't be an internet gangsta. Be yourself. Clout is not the root. Get money. That same warning has resurfaced across hip-hop commentary as Durk's own case has picked up steam. Lil Baby has been one of the few peers to show up for Durk directly, rather than comment from a distance. As the trial date approached, reports surfaced of him checking in personally. One Rolling Stone piece referenced a story titled "Lil Baby Caught on the Phone with Lil Durk as Trial Approaches," a small but telling detail showing that even as commentary swirls, some of Durk's closest peers in the industry have stayed in his corner as the trial date got closer. Fans and commentators haven't been unified either. Some have pushed back on the idea that Durk brought this on himself. Music outlets have reported on Lil Durk fans blame trolls for legal trouble and cause debate around his alleged actions, showing that even within Durk's own fan base, there's been real disagreement over how much weight to put on the charges versus the narrative building up around them online. What's clear across all of these reactions, from 6ix9ine's callbacks to Boosie's running commentary to Meek Mill's warnings to Lil Baby's quiet loyalty, is that nobody in hip-hop has treated this case as background noise. It's been a live, ongoing conversation for going on 2 years, and it's only gotten louder as the trial date got closer. The indictments stacked up, and the witness list grew to 35 names. So here's where things actually stand as the trial gets underway. Durk isn't walking into a courtroom with a simple single-count case against him anymore. He's walking in with 7 charges spread across multiple indictments, a severed racketeering count waiting in the wings for a second trial down the line, and a government team that says it has 35 people ready to testify, 20 of them considered central to proving the case. This is a federal criminal trial in the United States District Court for the Central District of California, involving Durk Banks and 5 associates from only the family. That's the reality of the room he's about to sit in. Not alone, but flanked by 5 co-defendants, all facing overlapping allegations tied to the same night. Outside that gas station near the Beverly Center, the music fight, in a lot of ways, tells you everything about how this case has been fought on both sides. Prosecutors didn't just want witnesses. They wanted Durk's own voice, his own videos, played back to a jury as proof of intent. And they won a real chunk of that fight. The judge granted prosecutors' requests to admit the "Pissed Me Off" video and lyrics, over the objection of Durk's defense that's now locked in for trial. A week before proceedings were set to begin, the defense, for its part, hasn't rolled over. They've fought the racketeering counts and won a severance. They've fought individual lyrics and gotten some excluded. They've attacked the credibility of the government's central cooperating witness, pointing to a story that initially told investigators there was no bounty, before later changing to claim a co-defendant remained in Los Angeles to collect and distribute a payment. If that inconsistency lands with a jury the way it's landed in pretrial filings, it could matter more than any lyric ever will. But the math right now still favors the government side of the room. 35 witnesses is not a number prosecutors throw around lightly. Neither is a life sentence, which is what Durk is facing if a jury convicts him on the underlying murder for hire and Vicar-related charges. Durk now faces life in prison if convicted, 2 years in custody, a canceled trip out of the country, a revoked key to a city that once celebrated him. All of that has already happened before a single juror has been seated. And the culture around him has kept moving too, whether he's been free to respond to it or not. 6ix9ine still bringing up old verses. Boosie's still weighing in on loyalty and cooperation. Fans are still arguing about how much of this is real versus constructed by people looking for clout off his name. Meanwhile, Lil Baby's reportedly still on the phone with him, one of the few voices treating this as a friend's crisis rather than content. What happens over these 2 to 3 weeks in a Los Angeles courtroom will settle more than a legal question. It'll settle whether the bounty prosecutors describe the gas station shooting, the ski masks and rental cars and hotel rooms, the "Pissed Me Off" video, and the 20 central witnesses add up to a conviction, or whether the shifting story of the government's key cooperator is enough to unravel it all in front of 12 people who weren't paying attention to any of the online noise going into it. Durk's attorney has said all along that after 21 months of fighting, they're ready for this exact date. For 21 months, we have been unwavering in our commitment to Mr. Banks and his innocence, and look forward to an Aug 20, 2026 trial, Findling said. Whether that confidence holds up against 35 witnesses and a jury hearing, Durk's own music played back to them is the next chapter of this story, and it's one that's about to be written in real time, starting right now.